Hello, hello. How you doing today?
Hey, Paul, how are you? Thanks for your
Doing.
time.
Oh yes, thank you so much. Well, we're so happy to talk to you because you gave us another great show. Of course, you've done this for years now, so we kind of expect it when your name comes along. But this is something you
Okay.
got to be so excited about because of course, the first season we get into something, we go, oh, we want more, and then the second season we get it, and then okay, now we're into it. So you got to be so excited because now the fans are excited.
You know what? It's been very rewarding. It's a lot of fun to watch fan reaction. So I know people are doing YouTube things and writing about the show. I love that. And I think they're really going to love season two. I think we have a lot of twists. We have a lot of deepening the mystery, deepening the character stories. I will say I do think we stick the landing in a big way. So I'm excited about this one. This one's a very special season of TV for me.
Yeah. And of course, probably since you're a kid, you're fascinated by space and all things space. It's fun to go up there, right? Because we're still the same even when we're up there, right?
Listen, it was great to walk around the set. Like
Yeah.
you're walking around the set, you're like, oh, this is so cool. And
Mhm.
so yeah, it was a lot of fun to make, and it was a lot of fun to write. And yeah, I mean, I I might be too much of a scaredy cat to go into space myself. I don't think anybody wants me in space, but this was a great way to scratch that itch. So yeah, it was fun.
Yeah. Do you remember that scene where you're kind of just like looking around the set and just going, "Oh, this is really cool. I think we got this here."
Oh yeah, without a doubt. Yeah, the set is amazing. The set is really amazing. And so just walking around the set. In fact, my one of my sons came to the set one day, walking around with him, and it was just a lot of fun. And then one of the things that I did in season two was, I didn't want the set to always just look the same or look very too clean to we've seen 2001 a space odyssey. I needed to make it, so I was like, can we make this messy, can we break stuff, can we have stuff hanging out, and can we make it look like Halen's a bad housekeeper and stuff. So to kind of change the set, change the character of the set to reflect his emotional state was a lot of fun. So it gave us a lot of opportunity to push the storytelling.
That's so great. And speaking of storytelling, people have been looking up to what you've been doing for years and thinking, that's what I want
Thank
to
you.
do. But it's so hard to get it from your brain to on screen. And so what kind of advice do you give to people that want to tell great stories and get them out there in the world?
Okay, that's a great question. I would say, a few things. One is, a lot of people say write what you know. Okay, I no, I don't know anything about space. I don't know anything about zombies. Write what you love.
Mhm.
Okay, and one of the things that I love writing genre is because I'm a fan of it.
Mhm.
Okay, I love horror movies, I love sci-fi, I read this stuff, I watch it, so I'm excited about that. So I'm engaging it as a fan first, then as an artist. Okay, so that's one thing. And then I would just say to people that Hollywood and entertainment is a business of rejection. Okay, and there's just the numbers or the business, or a lot of it doesn't make sense. And when you're an artist, you're trying to bleed on the page, you're trying to put your heart out there, and then people go, I've seen that before, or, that's not as good as this, or whatever. And it feels very personal, but it's not really as personal as you think it is. Okay, and
Mhm.
so therefore, don't take the rejection too personally. Just make sure that you believe in what you're doing and keep going forward. But so it's not just to develop a thick skin, because you still have to remain vulnerable as an artist, but you just need to kind of um, realize that it's not as personal as it feels. And I'm not sure if that advice makes sense, but I wish somebody had told me that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, you might be familiar with my co-host Drew Pearson, one of our great,
Yeah.
Dallas Cowboys. Caught the Hail Mary, went in the Hall of Fame, so we're so proud of him. But he wanted me to make sure that I asked you your Hail Mary moment, which is that moment in your life or career where you just kind of had to go for it and it worked out for you. What do you suppose that was for you?
Wow. I think my Hail Mary moment was just, you know, I was learning how to be a writer. I was learning how to be a writer, and um I wrote a couple of scripts, and there was an agent who was maybe interested in me or whatever, right? And but he wanted to see one more script. So I was in New York. This was in the 90s, and there was they had just opened up the first Krispy Kreme in New York, and I took a box of Krispy Kremes and you know, a 2 liter bottle of Coke, and I went to a library and I just stayed up all night and I wrote this insane script, you know, and I mailed it out in the morning. I didn't even read it. And that got me the agent, it got me a manager, it got me an interview for my first job. You know, it really kind of opened up paths. And I think it was just I wanted it and I was going to do it and I was going to do it now. And I was just it was that was a Hail Mary moment. It's just like I'm going to throw it up there and either somebody's going to catch it or they're not. We're just throwing it out there, right? But so I think that was my Hail Mary, you know?
Ah, how great. And they caught it. All right, I'll remember that. Krispy Kremes and a 2 liter Coke. All right, here
Yeah,
we go.
yeah. Just a sugar high, just writing nonsense, you know, but it was good enough to get me a gig. So yeah.
I love it. And so, what is it that you keep in mind that kind of keeps you on the right path even when things are tough? Because I don't think people realize the pressure that you're probably under at all times, right?
It is that's interesting. I think I have a couple of ways that I've come around to handle the pressure. One is I do a lot of mentoring. I do a lot of helping of other writers, you know, students, people who want to get into the business, that kind of stuff. And so by helping them, that helps me. Okay. It kind of keeps me on track and it keeps me connected to people so I don't feel so isolated. That's one. Two is I meditate every day. You know, I journal. I've kind of had to give myself a structure so I can have a creative space and a creative mindset. So, you know, just like, you know, an athlete going on a run every morning or doing the road work or that kind of stuff, I need to do my writing road work. And if
Mhm.
I don't, I can kind of fall into more of the producing part, which is a lot of phone calls and meetings and that kind of stuff, but you have to stay creative. So I think what I need is I need structure and I need connection.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
Well, last thing, the show is so cool. You know, as I said, the human experience. You know, regardless if we're in space, if we're running from zombies, where the humans are still humaning all the time.
Yes.
So what is it that you hope that we'll get out of this, or think about, or talk about more after seeing this?
You know what? That's a great question. I think there's a few things. I think one is we do have an interesting point of view and an interesting storyline regarding AI. AI was not really something I was interested in before I started working on this project. That's one. Two is I think that people will sort of debate, you know, the storytelling of the show, you know, the story, because you know there's a mystery and then we have revelations within the mystery and then it'll, you know, there's a big payoff at the end of the season. So I think people will kind of, when they get to it, they'll be forced to go back and say, oh, it was this, you know what I mean, and it'll be interesting. So I think this will be something that I do think people will go back to and always come away with something a little bit different, you know, because there's a lot of hidden layers in the storytelling. So you know, and at the end of the day I think it's about humanity trying to hold itself together under desperate situations, which unfortunately feels like real life right now. But I think it's, you know, there's a lot of the story that's a metaphor for what we're facing in our daily lives, and that's there. That is there. I'm not just saying that. So that's what I think about that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you so much for bringing us the show. We're excited for everybody else to see the rest of it, and then hopefully we're getting a season three, and
I
whatever
hope
else you
so.
got for us, I know we're gonna love it. So thank you
Great.
so
Well, thank
much.
you so much. I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Hey, appreciate you. Bye bye.